Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger. He's Rogers Hampton. I'm Patrick Netherton. We're pleased to welcome in a good friend, and I would say probably much like Dave Revson, who we had on earlier in the week. I would say he is the face and voice of the SEC network. He is Peter Burns, who joins us apparently from the playground. Would you like to give us some play-by-play while you're out there, Peter? You want to expand your broadcasting horizons?
I'm not going to sing Aisha like Another Bad Creation at the playground back in the day. I got a little Bo Burns, all 1 foot 7 inches of her, getting ready to go down the big slide that she's probably a little too small for. But that's right. You're an unbelievable princess. You heard that, Patrick.
Well,
she's
sure.
ready to go. So
honestly,
I don't know who's more excited, her hanging out of this playground or me knowing that we're 48 hours away from kickoff here in the SEC, my friend.
Well, Peter, I will tell you that what Bo just said is the exact same thing I say in the mirror every morning to get myself ready to go to work.
Right, you're a beautiful princess,
I am a beautiful
and you're
princess.
just going to rule the day. Yeah.
I am. I put my little tiara on, and I get to work. Hey, let's back up a little bit because we talked to Dave Revson earlier in the week from the Big Ten Network, and we had talked to Jerry DiNardo last week, and it seems like the Big Ten, everyone sort of says, hey, they got it wrong, right? They went ahead, they canceled, and then saying that the medical experts are concerned, we don't have rapid testing, all of that stuff, and then they go, oh, we have rapid testing, okay, we're back in. Do you feel like the SEC handled this better in the fact that they just said, hey, we're going to keep going, and if something comes up to stop us, we'll stop, but we're not going to stop until we have to?
Well, I think that was the setup, right? I mean, I think the only thing the Big Ten can be, told that they did something wrong was the fact of the communication.
Yeah,
Patrick. I mean, I think I legitimately had Ryan Day on College Football Live one day ask us about, hey, can you talk to our chancellor? I mean, he's asking me.
Right.
Like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, I don't know if we have a winners or losers of this until probably mid-December, until we can take a look back and go, how many games were played? Was it done safely? And then we can go back and look, all right, here's what we learned. I mean, take, for instance, I had Steve Shaw, the used to be the SEC head official, who now does it for NCAA football as a group. And he said, listen, we looked at the first 4 weeks of the season and realized the electronic whistles aren't working as well as we'd like to. So we're switching up, and we're going to allow regular whistles. Now, that sounds stupid. It doesn't sound like a big breaking news thing, but the fact that NCAA is able to turn on a dime after a couple of weeks, after finding out more information, makes it so, hey, we don't really know what the answers are. We're all trying to guide ourselves through this kind of blindly.
I'll tell you how you do that. You just put my alarm clock ringtone on, and everyone will come to a halt as soon as that thing comes out. It's nightmare fuel. Gets me up in the morning.
You know what I have for my ringtone and my alarm is the Masters theme song.
Oh,
so think about this.
You're just sleeping.
It's the best $3 you'll spend. Go buy it as a ringtone, and what happens is that when you wake up slow in a good mood. So that's my one tip from this interview.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think I would ever wake up if I heard the Masters theme music playing. I think I would just continue to sleep, as I often do on a nice Saturday afternoon during the Masters, which will be happening in a few weeks now, right after LSU Alabama, as a matter of fact. So that'll be interesting. Hey, let's now talk about week one of the season because the SEC is getting underway. Feels like I know there's one more round of COVID testing to go for this week, but it seems like everything is above board and ready to go. What excites you other than just the generic, hey, we're getting football back in the SEC? What are some of the storylines that you're looking forward to watching?
Yeah, I mean, obviously all of the brand new coaches that are coming in, I mean, they didn't get the easy draw, right? I mean, Sam Pittman going up against Georgia right off the bat. You've got Lane Kiffin taking on Dan Mullen. Mississippi State, of course, the CBS game against LSU. And, in Missouri, hey, welcome into the league, Eli Drinkowitz. You're going to be down about 10 players. Oh, it's just Alabama coming up to town,
Sure.
So good luck with that.
No worries.
So, I'm just curious about the chaos. And, I look at the South Carolina-Tennessee games as intriguing because, listen, Jeremy Pruitt was down about half of his team for almost a week. So, you know how it is. I mean, you've been around these programs. If a coach loses one day, they start freaking out. You lose a week of practice in the middle of fall camp, and who the hell knows what's happening. So I think that's one of the storylines between Tennessee and South Carolina, and I cannot wait for the game that we have at noon. And that's not a plug for the network. I thought Kentucky-Auburn, when I looked at the first week schedule, was by far the best game. And I think Kentucky is a team that comes out. I think Kentucky is a damn good football club, and we're going to realize that around 4 o'clock on Saturday when that game's over.
Who's quarterbacking Kentucky now, by the way?
Terry Wilson, if he's going to be healthy enough.
Right.
And now they're waiting to see if Joey Gatewood, remember he was a kid at Auburn, to see that if he's immediately eligible. But even if he was, he would be a backup if that happens. And I'm not sure he does become eligible this year, just like Cade Mays.
They don't. I just, I'm waiting on them to roll out some sort of guy who never played quarterback before to line up in the shotgun and just run for 300 yards.
But how good was that?
Yeah.
How good was Eddie Grand last year when everybody knew it was going to be Linbo Jr. and he wasn't going to throw more than 2 passes? They're like, screw it, man. Just if you could beat us, you could beat us. And he went like Tecmo Bo Jackson on everybody. And that matchup between Kevin Steele, who I think is a great defensive coordinator for Auburn, and Eddie Graham, the offensive coordinator at Kentucky, I think is the best coaching matchup week 1.
Talking to Peter Burns of the SEC Network. So you have this laundry list of games, and I know that we're not necessarily going to know a lot about these teams after week 1, especially with the sort of the way that teams have been practicing. Some of them have had to have shortened practices. Some of them missed practice time, like you mentioned at Tennessee. Is there something that you look at and say, okay, after week 1, I feel like we will know this about X team? You feel like there can be some things that we will learn that are definitive after week 1, or is this a case where, hey, we're going to have to be 3 or 4 weeks in the season before we know some of the answers to these questions?
Well, I think it's best guesstimates, right? Because I think this is the least. I will tell you this, all full transparency. This is the least educated I've been going into a college football season in my life.
Yeah.
Since maybe I was 10 years old, because we didn't see spring ball. We didn't have media days. I didn't get a chance to see all these fall practices, and neither did a lot of the media. We've done these Zoom things. But, I think the best guesstimates that we're going to see is that Georgia's defense is ridiculous. It'll look like a college football version of the '85 Bears. So I think that's going to be a storyline coming out. And the other one too is in my home state is Louisiana.
Yeah.
I think everybody's sleeping on LSU. Do they think that LSU just decided to throw away all the plays that Joe Brady helped create last year, and they tore up the playbook and they're going to start playing like Les Miles football? No, that's frankly not the case. Ensminger's still calling it. Brennan has probably a better arm than Burrow. And they were so deep at wide receiver. It sucks to lose Jamar Chase, but damn, they're going to be loaded again.
Including Parkway's own Terrace Marshall from up here in Bossier City, who's looking to be the stud this year. And it's interesting because you said something and then you kind of elaborated, which I thought was good. But there's been a lot of people putting a lot of stock in the fact that Joe Brady left and went to the Panthers. And not a lot of people seeming to remember that Steve Ensminger was the one calling the offense, right? Brady ran some third downs. He did some red zone stuff, but it was still Ensminger's offense.
Right. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. And they're like, oh, it's Scott Linehan running the offense. I'm like, no, it's always been Ensminger. And this has been the guy. And it's not as if he's going to revert back. And I go back and look at, between Chris Curry and, of course, remember John Emery, who was such a big high recruit for LSU as well, too. Racy McMath. I remember sitting with Mickey Joseph at the championship parade in Baton Rouge as the float's going by. And I said, man, you got your work cut out for you because this wide receiver crew was unreal. And he stops me in the middle of the parade, Patrick. I'll never forget this. And he goes, brother, you have no idea. The kids that can't even get on the field, how good they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, man. And he's like, I'm telling you. He's like, we got 3 kids next year that are going to blow your mind. That this is – and when he was telling me this conversation, what it reminded me of is everything I've heard from Alabama personnel and coaches over the last decade of going, if you think this kid's good, just wait until you see the next kid we have coming up. And that's something I haven't heard down in Baton Rouge in a long time.
Well, and they've had a history of getting good skill position guys, even when running the old toss ISO that Les Miles ran all the time. And
the
now they have
Hester,
the Hester offense. Now they have an offense that actually works to utilize the skill position guys. So that's how you end up with a tight end like Eric Gilbert.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that's probably the one player. I mean, him and Derek Stingley. I mean, LSU might have two of the most, kind of sought after, like, I can't wait to see what this guy can do, players in the entire conference, hell, if not in the entire SEC, in the entire sport of college football right now. Wanted to see what Stingley's going to do, see if he's able to play both sides of the ball at some point, and it was some fun. And then Gilbert, my goodness, I mean, the quotes, I think it was Brody Miller that had the article in The Athletic this week that was talking to all the guys that grew up around Gilbert and what he's going to bring to the table. And it sounds like, hey, Antonio Gates, what would Antonio Gates be like as a freshman if we knew that position again? So I think the demise of LSU football, as many across the country are hoping for, is people are speaking a little too soon, my friend.
Greatly exaggerated, I think. Talking to Peter Bernstein, the SEC Network. By the way, any SEC level talent out on the playground today? You scouting for any good looking prospects out there?
Yeah, we're always. You see, I do it as far as kind of like, hey, from coaching standpoint. Chris Doring, my co-host, is always trying to look at the lacrosse girls that are practicing on the fields over.
Right.
So I'm going to steer clear of that conversation. But so far, no injuries here on the playground. So
okay.
It's a clean. Not a lot of penalties. We're in good shape. Clean football right now.
No soft tissue injuries going on. No worries about the lack of practice time before during the pandemic. All of that. I like that.
I will tell you this. I love my daughter. She is wonderful at many things. She will not be a sprinter. We'll put it that way. She does not have speed whatsoever.
Well, that's all right. Look, as long as she's got her wits and her dad's good looks. I mean, she's going to go far in this world, right?
Luckily, she looks like her mama. Who, by the way, how about this? For a 5-year anniversary, I'll be married to my beautiful wife Lauren on 5 years on Saturday, and she comes home and she's like, "All right, we have a sitter for Saturday." I'm like, "Oh my God, the LSU." I'm off air at 4. The LSU game is going to be going on. What has she got planned or whatever? And, she's a diehard Alabama fan. She goes, "Oh no, I just got a sitter so we can just sit home and watch football all day long and not have to worry about the kids." And I was like, this is why I married you. You're the world's greatest wife ever. Yeah. So that's the anniversary gift in the Burns household.
Well, you can't argue about that. That's for sure. Hey, what I know one of the things that I think is going to be interesting is we had several really top flight quarterbacks last year with Tua and Burrow and guys like that. It seems like we're kind of flipping, and there's not that sort of bell cow quarterback in the SEC. When it's all said and done, who do you think steps up and we look at and go, oh, man, we didn't maybe realize this kid's potential. He's the best quarterback in the league this year.
Well, I think Brennan definitely has that opportunity to be there. But the one that I think we'll go down to is what Dan Mullen's working with in Gainesville. I really like the makeup of Trask for him to just be a good teammate. And he was just really consistent last year when he got that opportunity after Felipe went down. And so to me, I think with the amount of young talent that they end up coming, gotten in, like Justin Shorter, the kid that they got eligible, Copeland, and then Kadarius Toney, I think having one more year under Dan Mullen, who's his quarterback whisperer, I think that's probably the most amount of success you'll have. I would have said Kellen Mond had Jamon Osborne not opted out, but I'm just not sure who they're going to throw the ball down in College Station.
But, I mean, haven't we said that about Kellen Mond for 3 years now?
Yeah, I mean, again, but he's had some guys there, but I just felt like it just wasn't the right fit. And to me, this was unfortunate because I really thought with Osborne he had developed a relationship of rapport to where at least gets the other opposite wide receivers and the Y guys out open a little bit more. I don't think that's to be the case. So I like Mond, but man, they have been hit hard by opt-outs as well. So I think the year 3 of the Jimbo Fisher project is going to look very interesting right off the bat.
What is interesting is Northwestern State played A&M in the opener in Mond's first game, and I remember we're doing that game, and we're talking about the whole time. We're expecting to see a lot of Starkel. Starkel's going to play a lot, and he didn't play a down. Even when A&M got up huge, I think he came in for maybe one series at the very end. I don't know that any of us really anticipated what Kellen Mond was going to be able to do in terms of taking the reins of that offense.
No, I remember because we talked all on SEC Now about, hey, it's going to be Starkel's offense and how they're going to pass the ball and stuff like that. And ultimately, Jimbo came out and says, man, I just like if a play breaks down and it's going to, I'd rather have Kellen Mond who can do something with his feet a little bit more athletic. And I think that's the thing that Kellen Mond has endeared himself to Aggie fans right now, is to think, all right, you need to do it. The problem is it's never his escapability or what he can gain with his legs. It's just, can he make the smart decision when he needs to? And you got to have veteran wide receivers, and I just don't think A&M has enough to go tit for tat with Alabama or LSU or even Florida at that point.
Peter Burns from the SEC Network joining us. We had Sam Pittman on last week, and I keep looking.
How
at
awesome
that.
is he, by the way? Sam. I mean, you can't get fired up, and I mean, I just love the guy. He's awesome.
Well, we hadn't talked to him before, so my first question was, hey, why did you take the Arkansas job? What did you see in the job? Why did you feel like it was a good one? He goes, because they offered it to me. I was like, well, yeah, duh, that's the right answer.
Right.
But I look at Felipe Franks. He's got the younger Briles. Kendall Briles is the offensive coordinator. He's got Barry Odom, who's very, as an old head in the game, at his defensive coordinator. They've got some talent. Is that a team that maybe could sneak up and surprise a couple of teams? I know a lot of people are saying, hey, they may go 0-10. I think they might jump up and surprise a few folks.
Well, they got Trey Knox, Trey Burke. You got Kendall Briles calling the plays. You got Rakeem Boyd.
Absolutely.
Might be one of the best running backs in the country. Hell, not just the SEC West. I just don't think they have the depth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what hurt them under Chad Morris, is that a lot of these SEC schools that could compete, what happens is, hey, when you get down to the two deep, you still got 4-star guys. They missed that in the last 2 years. So I just think defensively, they're going to look like Ole Miss a couple of years ago, where they could be fun on offense, but my goodness, they might be a dumpster fire on defense. And they'll probably make Georgia's offense look really good week one.
No, somebody needs to. Hey, so all right, before I let you go, what's the set? All right, so the kids are gone. There, you got the sitter. Anniversary. What's the setup going to look like in the Burns household for the first week of the SEC?
Well, I mean, we'll have obviously probably about three televisions going, 11 Crown and Cokes, and I think that's it. I'm not going to plan on anything anymore. Like, there's no telling. I want to be nimble. I want to be able to do whatever we want. So, man, I'm just so damn happy we're getting football, man. There was a lot of moments this off season where it was touch and go, and you had no idea what was going to happen. So I feel like our lives and a lot of people's lives, especially in the South, are return to some type of normalcy in this weird 2020 when we get to see college football kick off in the SEC come Saturday.
As a former collegiate golfer and a huge golf fan yourself, how many protein shakes are you up to a day to get your DeChambeau on?
Freaking Bryson, man. I mean, and it's brilliant. I mean, he's just saying, hey, listen, you can make the fairways as tight as you want. I'm just so strong. I'm going to hit wedge into everything, and it doesn't matter. So, I've done that with double stuffed Oreos, and I've done hardly any working out. So me and Bryson have very little in common at this point.
Well, you're putting on weight. It's just maybe not the good kind.
Yeah, well, I'm not putting on any distance. That's the big thing.
Right.
So.
No worries. Look, brother, you're the best. Obviously, give Bo a hug for us, and y'all keep no injuries on the playground. Get everyone safely through to Saturday. We look forward to a big weekend, man.
Fingers crossed, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Peter Burns, SEC Network.